Hello, everybody. My name is Dirk. I'm the Director of Programs and Services here for ICAR, and I'm responsible for the rollout of electric vehicle training, as well as I oversee a couple of subject matter experts who are doing a lot of research on electric vehicles, and that's why we're using this space here as well for. So let's start a little bit, talk about research. So everything what we want to learn about electric vehicles, everything what a technician has to know about electric vehicle, we want to research, capture this information, and of course distributing it back to the industry that everybody is aware of different things, maybe risks or others. So when it comes to our electric vehicle training, what we rolled out a couple of weeks ago here in this facility, then we talk about like a 5-day electric vehicle training. So in those 5 days, we want to cover the much as possible knowledge. And we do this, or we give this knowledge not out of like, okay, we researched it by ourselves, or this is my imagination what somebody has to know about electric vehicle. No, we're following a regulation. We're following a regulation what is regulated in Europe. It's called ECE R100. That's the European regulations what defines electric vehicle training and knowledge. So everything from what is considered a high voltage vehicle, what is considered high voltage technology, up to this is what the technician have to know and what measurements have to be performed. So this is really important. Then manufacturers like European manufacturer, Volkswagen, Audi, others, following this curriculum in Europe and rolling their training worldwide out. So we want to match the best practice, what is definitely coming in this case out of Europe when it comes to training. So to do this, what you can see here behind me, and maybe you can zoom a little bit in, we use those training boards, experimental boards, that's how we call it. So we start on the first day from simple electrical diagrams, what people have to build on those boards. And on the last thing, what people have to do is building exactly what you can see here. This is a transformer and a rectifier. So we're transforming 24 volt AC in 9 volt AC, and then we rectifying it in DC. And we explain why different components are so important. So for example, when I point out this here, this is a capacitor. What is a capacitor? Is nothing else as a storage device. So when you have 400 volts in the battery, then you have 400 volts also in the capacitor. So when you disconnect the battery, you literally making sure those 400 volts stay in the battery. You isolate the battery. So don't think you are safe when you have isolated or disconnected the battery. Then there's also 400 volt in the capacitor, what is a part of the inverter. So things like this have to be trained, that has to be known by technicians, and this is really important for their own safety. So everything what we do here in this basic electrical engineering part is purpose-built towards an electric vehicle. So nothing it's like, okay, we do this only nice to know. No, there is a reason behind it, and it's really, really important. So this is what we created here, our theoretical area with a lot of practical aspects where they're really learning while doing and experimenting. On day number 5, we will conduct a practical exam with the students. So what we want to see that they learned everything from disconnecting a vehicle over also finding faults. Nobody is an isolation fault. Nobody is a bonding fault, and how to do this. For this, we created those training cards, what you can see here. So those training cards, we have a few already built. They are simulating a fully electrical system, a high voltage system. But it's powered up with 12 volts. So we can perform here all kind of training possibilities and diagnostic possibilities like it would be on a real vehicle. On a real vehicle, putting a fault on it in a 400 volt system is pretty dangerous. So, but we want that they get the real experience and know, okay, this is how my meter reacts on an isolation fault. This is how I identified bonding faults. This is how blah, blah, blah. So this is why we have those cards, to really help people understand how to learn a process in a safe environment. And we use those cards also for the exam piece at the end, and students have to go over, show us how to disconnect the vehicle and find faults and show us their diagnostic strategy. So this is a little bit about the training in a really, really rough thing. It's 5 days, a lot of knowledge to share and a lot of knowledge to gain for the technician. And yeah, 5 days, a lot of technicians told us, oh my God, this is not enough. I know 5 days sounds a lot, but electric vehicles, there's a lot to learn. It's a new field in our industry, and I encourage everybody, come to ICAR, go through this class, and get a full experience.